You know, all things considered, I guess it was nice of Kanye to let his daughter not only sing on the album, but also mix it. So as of the recording of this video, Kanye just released Vultures 2. And it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's also not a very good sign when the reason I found out that this album dropped was because I went onto YouTube and I saw a poll that said what is the worst rap song of 2024, and Bomb was on that list. That's how I found out that this album dropped. Not a good start. So I think when I released my ranking video for Kanye, I mentioned that I was going to talk about Vultures when it dropped. Then it kind of happened and went, and I didn't really have time to talk about it. So I'll just share with you now what I thought of that album. Vultures was all right. The first time I heard it, I was really excited because I kind of forgot that it was supposed to drop, and if I remember correctly, it kind of just randomly dropped, or at least it felt like that. So I listened to it. I was on a drive home from being out of town, and it was going to be like 3-hour drive. So I decided to listen to it with my friend who was in the passenger seat. I had a mixed feeling of like, oh, this is really cool, and oh man. But mostly I was just excited to have a Kanye drop. I thought it was so cool. I became a Kanye album before Donda, but I didn't listen to Donda when it came out. So I kind of caught up to that. So this was technically the first time I had listened to an album when it dropped. So I was over the moon. But as time has gone on, it kind of weared off the feeling of like, oh wow, we finally get a Kanye album. And now it's just kind of like, it's okay. I'd say my favorite songs from that album are maybe Carnival, which, let's give it credit, it was a great song. It's still a really hype song. Before, of course, the TikTok Riz party and whatever that was. Also, I love Back to Me. Even though it's kind of stupid and cheesy, it's still, I think it's an awesome beat. And I really think it's groovy and stuff like that. And it has a great verse from Freddie Gibbs. And then also F Some and Burn. Those 4 songs stand out to me. I like them. But even those songs aren't really top Kanye. So when I go back to listen to this album, Vultures 1, it's kind of disappointing. And even though it's not his worst album, I still think Jesus is King is his worst album. I'd say it's like maybe his second or third worst, which isn't really good. But hey, in my honest opinion, I always said that Kanye, even his worst albums are still pretty good to me. But this Vultures 2 is just, oh my god. See, the thing is, most people are saying that this is an awful album and it's not good at all. But I still see some people trying to defend it like, oh, just ignore the haters. Like, if you actually listen to it, it's really good. And I think, 1, no, it's not. You're delusional. But 2, being my favorite artist, I have a pretty high standard for Kanye. So even if this was just okay, I wouldn't really be satisfied with it. This is below satisfaction. This is unfinished. And for an album that's been delayed like what? Like 5 months, 4 months? I can't even remember. It's happened so much. You'd think that he would have time to finish it, because he was talking about releasing these like a month after. So the fact that he gets 5 months, you listen to it and it's an unfinished product, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all. So of course I heard all the bad things and stuff like that before going into this album, but I still wanted to kind of go into it with hope, because there are some albums that I like that other people don't, and there are some albums that other people don't like that I like. So I thought maybe there was a chance of me, coming out of this with a little bit more hope. But that isn't the case, so I'm going to give my thoughts on each song, just very briefly to kind of give you an idea of what I thought. Slide. Song's alright, I'd say pretty good. It's just clearly unfinished and not very well mixed.
Time moving slow.
Again, song's alright, and for some reason it kind of reminds me of like an older Kanye, but not any kind of Kanye that I really gravitate towards, so I don't know really where to put this. Field Trip. It seems to be one of the more popular songs on the album, and for good reason. I think it's one of the better songs, but to me, it just seems like it's carried by its features, so take of that what you will. Fried. It's basically Carnival Part 2, but worse. Isabella. We don't need to talk about this. There's no point to this. Promotion. I think other people like this song, but I don't know. Personally, I find it boring. Also, Kanye is clearly reusing beats, but I think it's funny that he's also reusing his own lyrics. Husband. Lifestyle. Okay, I like this song. It starts off pretty good. I like the beat. Wayne has a pretty good verse. I'm actually pretty impressed with this song. I like it. And then he goes and ruins it by making the second half the song I just listened to. What the heck? I just got on him for reusing beats and lyrics. Now he's going to reuse his own song? Forever. Again. Bomb. Look, Kanye, I think it's really nice that you want your kids to be involved in the music making process and all that, but maybe wait until they're good at it, you know? Just a thought. I don't like making fun of kids. I really don't. I try to stay away from, like making fun of child actors and stuff like that if they do a bad performance and stuff like that. But you can still make fun of the person who decided to hire that child actor to do a bad performance. Thus, this is your fault, Kanye. River, a song that is saved by a Young Thug feature. Thank you, Young Thug. 5:30. I think the only reason I like this song is because of the sample. And it's a good sample, but I don't know. Dead. Future saves the song for me. Forever Rolling. I kind of like it, but it's just okay. Sky City. I liked it better when it was on Yandi. And finally, My Soul. Can't really describe this one, but it kind of reminds me of like a missionary worship song. Oh yeah, and it's also just alright. So 16 songs, and I can only really say I like maybe 3 of them. Not very good. See, I didn't even have a good feeling about Vultures 1 when it came out. I thought it was going to be okay or pretty good, but I knew it wasn't going to compare to any of his other work. Just with the state of mind that Kanye is in right now, the fact that he's kind of destroyed his relationships with a lot of artists right now. So I wasn't really having too high of hopes for Vultures. Then I heard it and I kind of saw the trajectory of this 3-album run that Kanye has going. So Vultures 2 I wasn't really excited about, and now I'm less excited. And that only makes me way less excited for Vultures 3. So hopefully he can prove me wrong, but I'm just not real certain he's going to be doing that. Kanye's always been very full of himself. He's always had an ego. He's always thought he is the greatest, and he's been able to prove that. But something he's also always had was the willingness to learn and hear other people out and to take ideas. Now that he's kind of destroyed his relationships with so many other artists and stuff like that, doesn't really sound like he's willing to do that. And it sounds more and more like he's trying to just prove people wrong, and it's not working. Just stop. At least take the time to finish an album before you release it. Apparently he said that he plans on, doing a Life of Pablo where he releases it and then he's like, oh, but I'm going to constantly update it. No, stop doing that. Just get it right the first time. Or if you're going to delay it anyway, just take that time to actually improve it and fix it. Don't say you'll fix it later. That doesn't work. Stop doing that. I wasn't able to hear Donda 2 because 1, I didn't really want to go and find the leaks and stuff like that. And 2, I don't have nearly enough money to buy a stem player. But I hear a lot of people saying that this album is kind of on par with that. Very unfinished, very basic, not really up to his standard. And let's be honest, unless he really cares about this, it's probably not going to get the time and care it needs to actually be competent. So I guess really the only thing I can say is, Kanye, please get things in order. There are so many things that you need to get straightened out. So maybe just focus one thing at a time and humble yourself. That'll really help. But hey, not all of my artists that I like are, bombing this year. Denzel Curry just released an album, and I thought it was pretty good. I really liked it. He hasn't really disappointed me with an album, so I think you should go listen to that one instead of this one. So yeah, I was hoping this video would come out earlier, but it didn't. But at least it's coming out now. So thank you so much for watching this video. Click like, subscribe, and yeah, thank you for attending my endless thoughts. See ya. I don't need a boat to float, 'cause I ain't drowning. Sitting under moonlight, then I get